Hello. Welcome to the Weekly Trivia Show. My name is Philip Trickey. I am your host as always. Coming to you live from beautiful downtown Dayton, Ohio, the Crowdpurr HQ. Crowdpurr is the world's #1 web platform for trivia hosting. It has been a wild week. Oh, I totally forgot. It is National Pie Day. Happy National Pie Day, everybody. I hope that you are all enjoying 3.14 slices of your favorite pie today. It has been a fun week here in Dayton. We had some snow over the weekend, which meant that I did not get to go foaling with my friends over the weekend. Foaling apparently is a mashup of football and bowling. And I was disappointed to learn that we weren't going to be able to go, but I was more disappointed to learn that it was not the mashup I was anticipating. It's more like bowling and you throw a football to knock the pins down. I was really hoping that it was more like football, but with a bowling ball. Call that boot ball. Hank Williams could jump out and say, "Are you ready for some boot ball?" But I'm not ready for boot ball. I don't know if the world is, but I sure am ready for some trivia. So what do you say? Let's play. Question 1 this week. We've got a fun Ukraine history trivia game this week. Question 1 and 2 are coming from that game. Question 1. Ukraine is the world's largest cultivator of which flower, seen as their unofficial national symbol since the 18th century? Is it A, carnation, B, pansy, C, rose, or D, sunflower? A, carnation, B, pansy, C, rose, or D, sunflower? The answer is D, the sunflower. They have apparently planted them all over former nuclear missile silos, which is really, really cool. Question number 2, still from Ukraine. What is stuffed inside breaded chicken breast to make chicken Kiev, named in honor of the capital city? Is it A, garlic, B, corn, C, butter, or D, cheese? A, garlic, B, corn, C, butter, or D, cheese? And the answer is C, butter. Wrap breaded chicken breast around a cold stick of butter. I honestly don't see what is wrong with that dish in the slightest. Question number 3. In honor of National Pie Day, we have a pie trivia game this week. Question 3. What sci-fi series features the episode Wolf in the Fold, in which an evil computer is challenged to find the last digit of pi? Is it A, Star Trek, B, The $6 Million Man, C, Babylon 5, or D, The X-Files? A, Star Trek, B, The $6 Million Man, C, Babylon 5, or D, The X-Files? The answer is A, Star Trek features the episode Wolf in the Fold. A computer takes over the Enterprise, and Spock, being the smart guy that he is, challenges the computer to find the last digit of pi. Next question. Question 4, coming to you from our book to movie game this week. These are books that have been adapted into feature films. Question 4. What 1950 debut Patricia Highsmith novel was adapted into a 1951 film by director Alfred Hitchcock? Is it A, Strangers on a Train, B, The Talented Mr. Ripley, C, Deep Water, or D, The Blunderer? A, Strangers on a Train, B, The Talented Mr. Ripley, C, Deep Water, or D, The Blunderer? The answer is A, Strangers on a Train is the Hitchcock film. Talented Mr. Ripley was Anthony Minghella, and apparently there's a Deep Water film coming out this month or next with Ben Affleck. Interested to see that one. Question 5, still from books turned into movies. Which actress won a Best Screenplay Academy Award for her 1995 adaptation of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility? Was it A, Kate Winslet, B, Emily Watson, C, Kate Blanchett, or D, Emma Thompson? Kate Winslet, B, Emily Watson, C, Kate Blanchett, or D, Emma Thompson? The answer is D, Emma Thompson. She also starred in Sense and Sensibility. She's the only person to ever win an Academy Award as a writer and as an actor. Pretty interesting there. All right, question number 6. This was a fun game to put together. Parental Advisory. This game features, music, movies, books, TV shows, all stuff that, people might not find appropriate for kids. Question number 6. Which 1984 film was the first movie to be rated PG-13, following complaints from parents that certain PG-rated films were not appropriate for kids? Was it A, Red Dawn, B, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, C, Gremlins, or D, 16 Candles? A, Red Dawn, B, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, C, Gremlins, or D, 16 Candles? And the answer is A, Red Dawn. For the longest time, I thought it was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but that was the one that really spurred it on. My parents took me to see that movie when I was 7 years old, when it was still just rated PG. Very age appropriate. Question number 7, still from Parental Advisory. What was the name of the Utah-based company founded in 2000 that rented and sold commercially released DVDs that had been edited to remove violence, sex, and language? Was it A, Happy Flicks, B, Clean Flicks, C, Golden Flicks, or D, Family Flicks? A, Happy Flicks, B, Clean Flicks, C, Golden Flicks, or D, Family Flicks? And the answer is B, Clean Flicks. You would have to buy the movie, and then you would give it to them, and for a fee, they would take out all of the stuff that you found objectionable, as opposed to just not buying the movie. Question number 8. We have a famous podcast game this week, which, maybe this podcast will be featured on a game like that in the future. Question number 8. Which 2000 film features Marc Maron shouting, "Lock the gates!" repurposed as the opening salvo for his award-winning podcast, WTF? Is it A, Road Trip, B, Pay It Forward, C, Almost Famous, or D, Wonder Boys? A, Road Trip, B, Pay It Forward, C, Almost Famous, or D, Wonder Boys? And the answer is C, Almost Famous. He's trying to get the band Stillwater to not be able to leave a show that they left early. So he tells them, lock the gates. All right. This week, in time for St. Patrick's Day, we've got a fun Leprechauns themed game. Question number 9. What is the primary occupation for most leprechauns? Is it A, cobbler, B, carpenter, C, conductor, or D, cooper? A, cobbler, B, carpenter, C, conductor, or D, cooper? And the answer is A, cobbler. Leprechauns really know how to make shoes. Question number 10. We have Women in Sports 3. It's the third in our series of famous female athletes or sports featuring women. Question number 10. Which Olympic sport features skills like egg beaters, pushers, sculls, and bunkin tosses? Is it A, rhythmic gymnastics, B, synchronized swimming, C, archery, or D, dressage? A, rhythmic gymnastics, B, synchronized swimming, C, archery, or D, dressage? I have never actually witnessed this being done in the Olympics, but the answer is B, synchronized swimming. Seems to be popular. It's the only sport that is on the Olympic level is strictly women only. All right. Next couple of questions coming from our 2000s nostalgia, which is slightly sad that we're already nostalgic for 10 years ago. All right, question number 11. In November 2004, an NBA game between the Detroit Pistons and the blank erupted in an infamous brawl between players and fans, earning the nickname Malice at the Palace. Was it A, Boston Celtics, B, Indiana Pacers, C, the Chicago Bulls, or D, the Orlando Magic? A, Boston Celtics, B, Indiana Pacers, C, Chicago Bulls, or D, Orlando Magic? The Malice at the Palace involved B, the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons. I remember watching that game live when it happened. I could not believe what I was seeing. Question 12 from 2000s nostalgia still. Which hit series won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Drama Series for 4 straight years from 2000 to 2003? Was it A, The West Wing, B, The Sopranos, C, Law and Order, or D, 24? A, The West Wing, B, The Sopranos, C, Law and Order, or D, 24? The Outstanding Drama Series for 4 straight years was A, The West Wing. It was only the second series in television history to win 4 straight Outstanding Series awards. Hill Street Blues was the first. All right. Next question, question 13. We are coming to you from the mall. This game features questions about the mall. Question 13. Which beloved eatery opened its first location in a mall food court in 1967? Was it A, Sbarro, B, Hot Dog on a Stick, C, Chick-fil-A, or D, Auntie Anne's Pretzels? A, Sbarro, B, Hot Dog on a Stick, C, Chick-fil-A, or D, Auntie Anne's Pretzels? The first location for C, Chick-fil-A, was opened in a mall food court outside Atlanta in 1967. Whatever happened to that company, I wonder. All right, next question. We have TV medical shows this week. I think it's the second in our TV medical shows series, featuring TV's favorite doctors and whatnot. Question 14. Which U.S. state is home to the quirky citizens of Sicily on CBS's early 1990s comedy, Northern Exposure? Was it A, Alaska, B, Maine, C, Montana, or D, Washington? A, Alaska, B, Maine, C, Montana, or D, Washington? The answer is A, Alaska. Sicily, Alaska. The doctor was from New York City, but the state of Alaska paid for his medical education, so in order to repay them, he had to practice medicine in Alaska. All right, last question. Question 15. Continuing from TV medical shows. Before landing his breakout role as Dr. Doug Ross on ER, George Clooney appeared as a detective on an episode of blank. Was it A, Roseanne, B, The Golden Girls, C, The Facts of Life, or D, Who's the Boss? A, Roseanne, B, The Golden Girls, C, The Facts of Life, or D, Who's the Boss? And the answer is B, The Golden Girls. George Clooney was on Roseanne and The Facts of Life, but he was featured on that show, multiple episodes. He appeared in one single episode of The Golden Girls as a detective. So that's our 15 questions from our 10 new games this week. But wait, it's a bonus question. All right, this week's bonus question is coming to you from our acronyms game. Question number 16. Which war saw the creation of care packages, which originally meant Cooperative for American Remittances to Europe? Was it A, the Napoleonic Wars, B, the Crimean War, C, World War I, or D, World War II? A, the Napoleonic Wars, B, the Crimean War, C, World War I, or D, World War II? And the answer is D, World War II. Care packages were sent to GIs all over Europe, and the term just got co-opted to mean any sort of package containing food, letters, things like that. So that's where we get care packages from. Well, that's our game this week. I'd like to have a big thanks to my super producer, Ross. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Make sure you tune in every week for new games here on the Weekly Trivia Show. My name is Philip Trickey. Be sure to check out crowdpurr.com and have a great week.